Hello everyone. In this video we will look at the DAX learning curve and a couple of things or roadblocks that come in the way of learning DAX. So the first roadblock in DAX is people who try to pick up DAX come from two backgrounds. Either they've got an SQL user background or either they've got an Excel user background. And they come with their own baggage in the sense that an Excel user thinks in terms of formulas and calculated column, and an SQL user thinks in terms of rows and tables, while DAX requires a totally new way of thinking. So to become a DAX user, you have to pick up some new tools and need a new way of thinking. And now it's the same as the previous slide. So you've got Excel user on the left, where he looks at everything as calculated columns and formulas. And a SQL user looks at everything from rows and tables. But when you're doing DAX, you need to understand measures and calculated columns. You have to understand concepts like iterators versus aggregators. You have to understand filters, overriding and manipulation. You have to understand contexts, which are some concepts which make, so an Excel user as well as a SQL user, they will hit a roadblock in the middle ground. So because it requires a different way of thinking, a SQL user will need to think in terms of columnar storage and compression. And an Excel user will need to, well, both Excel user and SQL users will need to understand all these concepts. Going on to the next page. So the DAX learning curve, it's easy and then it gets steep and then it gets easier. So when somebody begins with DAX, they're talking mostly in terms of scalar functions and calculated columns, which is the basic functionality. And then all of a sudden they have to understand evaluation contexts. They have to understand when to use measures and when to use calculated columns, how filtering works, what are expanded tables, how you can override the filters using all. And then you've got dates and if conditions. So this is a bit of the advanced functionality which makes the curve slightly steep. And then once you've sort of understood these concepts, you move on to functions like time intelligence and nested evaluation context. Now, time intelligence functions are fairly easy functions in terms of their usage, and they provide a lot of really good functionality. So if you want to do year-to-year comparison, they're really good. So in this video, we went through a bit of how people come to the tabular model or DAX and why they struggle, which is because of their background, and how an Excel user or a SQL user typically thinks and what they need to pick up. And then how the learning curve is like, it starts being easy and then it gets really hard, but then there's some functionality which is easy to understand, but it will obviously take some effort even then. So in this video, we've just looked at the DAX learning curve and some of the pitfalls that you could face while learning DAX. I hope you find this video useful and thanks for watching this video. Please do subscribe to my channel if you enjoy what I'm doing. Thank you.